Welcome back to the So Far So Good podcast. My name is Christopher Coombs, and also we have
Gaurav Khazanchi on the other line again. Sadly, not in front of each other again, but it's okay. I feel like it's official. We're just officially apart.
Yeah, it's a sad time considering if you look at our bio, we're two best friends that have done literally everything together. So it's a bit strange not seeing each other.
It is very strange not having seen each other in a long time. And yeah, look, we have literally done everything together. If you listen to our past episodes, you'll hear a lot of the stories because that's what this podcast is about.
That's right. And I mean, look, it's tough not seeing your girlfriend. It's tough not seeing your family, but us not seeing each other is just on another level, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely unmatchable. So it's okay, guys. If we can do it, you all can do it.
That's right, that's right. And there is talk in Australia of things being unbanned at quite soon, potentially.
Yeah. Things are potentially going to ease up, but we'll just have to wait and see.
That's right. All right, now, as usual, we will kick it off with our introductory questions to each other. You can kick it off this time.
Yep. I'll kick it off. Now, Chris, I know you like your 5 to 8 meals a day, so
Yes,
I'm just
that's
wondering, how long do you think you've gone without eating anything?
That's a tough one.
I guess you could count in sleep. Yeah, but when you're awake, how long in the day have you gone without eating?
Ever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to say, man.
Do you reckon...
that's almost having to recall every day of my life to try and figure out, you know what I mean? To try and figure out which day, I don't know, I would say I've probably gone 8 hours without eating before, I presume.
Yeah, not bad.
But in saying that, I could go probably a whole day without eating.
I could definitely go a whole day without eating. I've done it before for sure.
Because there's something about you get hungry and you're hungry for maybe half an hour or an hour and then it kind of goes away and then you just kind of feel like, oh, well, I'm just used to not eating at the moment. Do you get the same feeling?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes you're so hungry that you're just not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
And I've had that before where so hungry, I order food or whatever, I make food, and then it's time to eat and I'm like, I'm not even hungry anymore. I've lost my appetite because I've been hungry for so long.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. What do you think yours is?
I think mine's definitely a whole day, as in, I've gone the whole day without eating, and I've eaten, at night at, 7 or 8 p.m.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely happened before.
Wow, that's not normal.
Yeah, it's not a
just
daily
to
occurrence.
Willingly happen. It's
happened before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Give me a question.
All right. Well, my question to you is gonna relate onto a quick discussion, but my question is, let's say you're having toast in the morning for breakfast, for example.
Yep,
and you have the choice of any spread in the entire world. What would you use?
Ooh. Okay, what I'm juggling between is... There's a few I'm juggling between. What I love is a butter base with strawberry jam on top as a basic.
Right.
Another one I love is Nutella, and another one I love is peanut butter. But what I think is extremely underrated is peanut butter and jam. So...
Ooh, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, exactly right.
The good old American style.
I'm gonna have to go with jam and butter because it's the most accessible, and I guess on average that's what I've had the most.
But would that be? It's got nothing to do with accessibility. Let's say you've got every single spread in the world on your benchtop right now.
Okay.
You pick.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Nutella then.
Nutella.
Yeah.
Jeez, that was a quick switch up.
Yeah, because I'm imagining everything being in front of me. I feel like that's what I'd go for.
So you just want chocolate, essentially.
Yeah, well, it's not just chocolate. It's a chalk hazelnut spread.
It's literally melted chocolate.
There's nothing wrong with melted chocolate. Actually, on melted chocolate note, do you refrigerate your chocolate?
You've asked me this at least 20 times in your lifetime. Yes.
You do, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. But what I'm saying is, melted chocolate. There's nothing wrong with melted chocolate. I like my chocolate almost melted.
Mm.
So if it's in a jar ready to go and it's got some hazelnut in it,
Yeah, that's interesting.
why not?
I was actually talking to this with a girl at my work, and her husband, well, she said he always puts it in the fridge, but sometimes puts it in the freezer even.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
That is a crime against humanity.
Have you had those chocolate ice cream bars?
Yeah, yeah. Where it's just chocolate and you put it in the freezer, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you like those?
Like I do it for the novelty, but it's there was nothing special about it.
Yeah.
It's just I'd rather just have chocolate ice cream then.
Yeah, fair call, fair call. Now, the reason I initially asked you this question is because we actually did a poll on our Instagram because of the heated discussion about tomato sauce versus barbecue sauce.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, well, we actually agreed on that, which was probably our first agreement ever on the podcast.
There was a couple of things we agreed on last episode, but
So
that is one of the few. But I agree, and yeah, look, it was sad to see the results of that poll.
Yeah, so the results on that poll actually came to 79% in favor of tomato.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was quite interesting to see the results. So I think going forward, I'm gonna chuck up a few more polls.
Yeah.
So I might do one relating to spreads, like I was saying there, but it would more be like choose one or the other. So I might try and figure out what are going to be the two most popular spreads, and and pick
I
between.
think what you can do is get like a list of 10 spreads, and then you can do 5 different polls,
Oh, could.
and then we'll tally up the numbers and somehow work it out mathematically.
Yeah, okay. But maybe not everyone will vote. Look, I think the two most popular ones are going to be Nutella and peanut butter.
Yeah, but dude, jam. I think jam should be there, and straight butter. Some people
don't really
I love
have
just
jam,
butter
man.
on toast as well.
People don't really have jam, let's be honest.
Just because you don't have jam.
Jam, you only have jam at like your hotel buffet. That's the only
Yeah.
time you ever see jam.
But when you asked me that question, what I was picturing was all these spreads in front of me at a hotel buffet. That's what I was picturing in my mind. I'm at like
Yes.
this 5-star hotel, and all these
Exactly.
spreads are in front of me.
And that's what it's always like. And they're always in those little container things. Like
Yeah,
little
exactly.
sauce
So I
container
think
things.
jam should definitely be on that poll.
Well, we'll have to discuss, but I am definitely going to be putting up a lot more polls so that other people can have their say, and
Yep.
you know, because sometimes they hear us discussing,
Yeah.
and we may agree, but they may disagree. So at least we're giving them a voice here.
Exactly. We want you guys, our soft souls, our listeners, to also have a say. You're allowed to say whatever you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. So look out for the polls on our Instagram, and without further ado, damn it, without without further ado, isn't it?
Yeah,
I said
yeah,
without
yeah.
further ado.
I thought I misheard that, but yeah, you guessed that.
All right, you say it instead.
All right, I'm just going to change the phrase completely.
Nah, say say it. You
Okay,
say
I'll
it.
say it. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So far, so good.
Oh wow, interesting start to the podcast this morning. But thank you guys once again for tuning in to the So Far So Good podcast. Gaurav has something extravagant that he wants to announce, so let's get ready for this.
Not really extravagant and not really announcing anything, but I just wanted to add something. It's about the tomato sauce barbecue sauce thing. I think what it is I think most people in their lives had tomato sauce, the first sauce, you know? It's your
Exactly, and
original sauce.
like I said last week, is that when you're a little kid and you're really fussy about what you eat, all you have is tomato sauce. That's where it
Yeah.
begins.
Exactly, and that's why I think maybe the love just stays there, and that's why tomato sauce beat barbecue sauce. You know,
Yeah.
like it's sort of a deep connection that people have with that sauce, and there's nothing wrong with it.
The only thing wrong with it is people aren't moving on. You have to develop. You can't stay stagnant. You know, you've got to try new sauces.
Yep, and I highly recommend sweet chili mayonnaise.
What? I thought we were talking about barbecue here.
Yeah, but no, but I'm just saying if you want to try other sauces, go for sweet chili mayo, you know?
Or maybe don't have sauce at all so you can actually taste the food that you're eating.
Yep, unpopular opinion, not liking sauce.
Now, I do have a couple of unpopular opinions that got sent through after the cutoff time last week, so I thought I'd quickly bring those up as a bit of a segue from last week's episode. Now, one that you may know a bit more, because it's relating to specifically Indian food.
Okay.
So this unpopular opinion is that pepper water is better than dal.
Pepper water
Is better than dal.
Oh, I honestly don't know what they mean by pepper water. I don't know if they've, like...
Bad start. I didn't know what pepper water is either.
I don't know if they've modernized the name or if it's called something else in Hindi or something or a different Indian language.
I've had a Google. We're looking at, comes up with chili pepper water. It's an Anglo-Indian pepper water.
Yeah, look, I've honestly got no idea. But look, yeah, sure. I mean, sure.
It's a condiment, apparently.
It's
a condiment, apparently. Well, maybe we'll put that up as a poll and see if people actually, know what it is.
Know what it is, yeah. I'll find out. I'll talk to my family and see if there's a word for pepper water.
All right, we may have to come back to this one at a later date. Now, the other one I wanted to bring up, this one I did actually have it last week, but I thought because it was such a crazy unpopular opinion that I thought I would save it for this episode.
Okay.
Because it needs a whole kind of segment on its own because it's so ridiculous.
Okay.
All right. So this unpopular opinion is that ingrown toenails actually feel nice in the fact that the pain that you get from it is a nice pain. Just what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. I feel like I kind of know what they mean. But at the same time, they're also very irritating.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, my initial thought is that they're super irritating and annoying, and just having it is just an hindrance on your life. But on the other hand, I do somewhat understand because I can kind of relate it to potentially having a pimple and then potentially popping that pimple. It's painful but satisfying, but I can't quite see how the ingrown toenail becomes a satisfying feeling.
What I'm assuming this person means is that you feel like this pressure on the toenail where it's ingrown, but it's not painful. It's like a satisfying. You know when you go to the gym and you're sore the next day, it's pain, but it's like a satisfying pain.
Yep.
I feel like that's what they're saying, and I see where they're coming from. But
I see where they're coming from in that sense.
Yeah.
But what is satisfying about that pain?
I think what's satisfying, or at least in my understanding, is when you try to take out that ingrown toenail, that's a satisfying pain. It's I don't know. It's an interesting one, but it's not completely out there. I can see where they're going with it. But it's not something I'd think about and say myself. So yeah, I can see how it could be unpopular.
Is it something you would think about and then potentially send through to a podcast to discuss?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's definitely... Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it is the definition of what we asked for. It's an unpopular opinion.
All right, now just topping off this comeback to unpopular opinions, I would like to add quite happily that after last week's episode, I got a lot of listeners contact me and say they totally agree about Jessica Alba still being number one.
Still being number one out of any female
choice. I'm paraphrasing, but Jessica Alba still being, a favourite, a top-notch favourite.
That's interesting.
And it's good. So I don't know, does that make the opinion not unpopular anymore? Or are we the small group only in the world who agree?
Well,
who knows?
Yeah. I guess. Well, I guess what you actually said was that Jessica Alba over Emma Watson.
Yeah, that was
That's
one thing I said.
initially. That was the whole point of bringing up Jessica Alba, right?
No. It was more like.
It was more like Emma Watson's overrated, and then just you were mentioning that you do like Jessica Alba.
Yeah, I do, and the unpopular opinion is that she is still in my top. In the top of my list.
Like the top out of any female choice. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, dude, I'm not
Like number one. Or are you saying like top five, for example?
like yeah, let's say top five. She's still in my top five.
Top five.
Yeah.
Top five all time. I would say it's unpopular only because it's probably less than 50% of people would agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like it would be probably a decent amount potentially,
yeah.
but it would definitely be under 50%. I'm just trying to work this out mathematically.
I can hear your thought process. No, okay,
But
look,
yeah,
fair
so
enough.
I would still consider it an unpopular opinion, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it, like
Super unpopular. Like
yeah.
toenail satisfying unpopular. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I probably wouldn't put her in my top five.
Yeah.
But
No,
then
that's
again,
fine.
I haven't thought of my top five.
Yeah. Actually, you know
So-
what? I actually proposed to her once.
What?
So
Well, like you
when-
sent her a message on Facebook.
so when Snapchat was new and it wasn't common to have, celebrities on Snapchat, I added her on Snapchat and I sent her a Snapchat message saying, "Will you marry me?" And to this day, the message is still pending. It
So she
hasn't
never
sent to her
opened it?
because she also has to add you as a friend to receive a message.
Oh no! What
This was
about
years
now?
ago.
Could you try and do it again now?
Oh, nah. She's got kids, I wouldn't want to be a homewrecker. So she'll probably say yes.
Dude, she's. I don't know. With the way your beard's looking at the moment, I don't know.
Yeah, bro. The longer the
Speaking of
beard,
which,
the better.
how's that beard going?
It's pretty long. I think you still beaten me in terms of length, but sort of if I take off all my cheek beard and attach it to my chin, that's your beard. So
Yeah,
it's.
I thought that
it's-
would be the case.
So it's long. It's. I feel like it's past the irritating stage, which is
Yep.
good. It's just growing now. I haven't been shaping it up. I've only been shaving the neck hair and the lip hair. So yeah, it's quite natural.
Yeah, same with me. So that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah, good to hear.
Well, yeah. So fantastic stuff. Now, what we did mention last week is that we would have a big chunk of the episode talking about Tiger King, the documentary.
Yeah. So obviously, spoilers from this point on if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch all 8 episodes right now and come back.
Yeah.
think it's
Well,
8.
it's 7 episodes and one special comeback episode where it's like
Yeah,
Joel
so 8
McHale
episodes.
interviewing everyone.
That's 8. 7 plus 1 is 8.
Yeah. But you don't have to watch the last episode. But I recommend watching the last episode.
The last episode's solid, man.
Yeah. Fair call.
But yeah, so go have a listen and have a watch and come back if you haven't watched it already. But we presume that everyone's watched it by now. Let's be real.
Most people. I mean, it was number 1 in Australia, so probably also number 1 or in the top 10 in the rest of the world. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, good luck.
That's right. Look, I guess the very first thing I want to discuss is what's your honest take on Joe Exotic? Like, really?
He's an absolute character, man. He's an absolute character.
He is.
You know what? You know what's surprising? Yeah, like they're full on redneck and whatnot, but they're quite intelligent. It's
Exactly, they are.
they're smarter. Like they don't act smart, but the way they think is smart. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They're
surprising
like-
in a way.
they're
Like
like-
it's like you just don't expect it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they're smart in the sense of like manipulation and things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because the way I see it is I like Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
I do like him as well a character. I guess you never really know what they're like in real life.
yeah, exactly.
Because he's obviously playing it up to the camera, right?
Yeah,
I like the guy. I reckon he's funny. He's there's something about all these characters that they're just able to draw people in. Like
yeah,
he was able to obviously build this zoo. Now that was I believe an inheritance that he got.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently it was an inheritance from his brother. That's how he was able to open the zoo in the first place.
Okay.
But they are smart in the sense that he obviously knows how to look after these animals. I guess some of them weren't looked after that well.
Yeah.
But the amount of different species and stuff, like, you need to know a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can draw that many people into... Pretty much his workers would just do whatever he said. And he wouldn't really pay him much. But they would just do it.
Yeah.
But then again, that's potentially just because they love the animals. So they were just all about that.
But it's also because, like, they discuss it in the show. He was smart in the people he hired. He literally gave jobs to, people who had nothing, or, people who were homeless, and, that they were happy to do whatever for the little pay he did.
Yep.
And that's the thing, like, as a character, he was very entertaining, very engaging. But, as you finish a show, you find out, more dirt on him and what people say, and he was actually a terrible person.
Exactly. And that last episode definitely changed my view of him.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they were saying that, like, he would yell at the staff on a daily basis. Just yell at them.
Just yell, pretty much pay them nothing, kill tigers just because. So, so it's a bit of a mix. Like, I totally agree. Throughout the show, I'm liking him. I'm like, wow, this guy knows what he's on about. But then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, he probably wasn't the best guy for this zoo.
Yeah, 100%. So it's a really strange thing. And the fact that he was able to convince two potentially straight guys to marry him, I guess through the influence of drugs and whatnot. But even still, like, that's pretty... Like, obviously it's a bad thing in terms of manipulation and whatnot. But you got to say, like, it's kind of impressive.
Right? Exactly right. It's it just shows, like, how manipulative he gets, just sort of emotionally and, with drugs, bribing them, that sort of blackmail, and it's pretty hectic how he does it, and you just think, wow, it's almost unbelievable that it's at that extent. He's literally got everyone wrapped around his fingers.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, no. And throughout the documentary they say, how he was so good at bringing people in and, really getting them to do whatever he wants, that sort of thing, with customers and his staff. So, but yeah, all round, not a good guy, but an entertaining character.
Yeah, made for a good documentary.
Yeah, exactly right. Now one question to you quickly about just overall the documentary. Is it in your top 10 or top 5 docos you've seen? Like, it was a great doco, but what did you think overall with all the docos you've seen?
Oh, that is a tough one. I would probably put it in the top 10 without having to think. Top 5, I would have to question that.
Yeah, okay. Fair call.
I would put it in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because it kind of included... like, everything that it includes are things that I'm interested in.
That's true.
So it's got the animals. I like animals. I like the whole... Well, it's a weird thing. The whole zoo thing, that's a whole nother story. Whether it's moral or immoral or whatever. But I have a passion for animals as well. So that was interesting. It had the crime element, which is always interesting.
That's true.
It
was very well made. Actually,
definitely.
In a couple of our group chats, that image of you holding the lion was going around. I feel like we should repost that on the So Far So Good podcast Instagram.
Yeah, we might have to.
Yeah. Very topical, actually. Very topical, that photo.
I guess the next thing I want to discuss is the characters that actually worked at Joe's Zoo.
Yeah.
So... Firstly, the blonde guy with the long hair. I forgot his name. The head keeper guy.
Gotta be honest, I've forgotten all their names.
Yeah, I know. So the head keeper with the long blonde hair.
Yep.
So he was an interesting character because for the first 7 episodes, which was the normal documentary part, he always had glasses on. So I thought there was potentially something wrong with him. Maybe he was on drugs and didn't want anyone to know, or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
But then in the last episode, he's no glasses, no nothing, like completely normal, just on a video chat.
Yeah.
And I think he mentioned in there that he was never on drugs when he
Yeah.
was working with
He said
animals.
he's never done meth, never done drugs, blah blah blah, all that. He was actually one of the really smart workers. One of them.
Well, he from that last episode, what I gathered is he's just there literally for the animals.
Yeah.
Even when the new owner came through, Jeff Lowe, apparently, yeah. So Jeff Lowe asked him like, "Where do your loyalties lie?" And he says, "Oh, I don't care about you. I don't care about Joe. I just care about the animals. That's it."
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's kind of a good thing because you know that he's gonna do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even he talked about when the tigers had to get euthanized, and he could see in their eyes, that he feels like he's broken their trust, and he feels like he could see that in the tiger's eyes, and the way he described it, you could tell he really did care about the cats.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder why, in those initial interviews, why he had glasses on all the time.
Well, he was outside. Maybe it was just always sunny.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he was trying to hide his identity, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. It's a thing, actually, people wearing sunnies and whatnot in front of the cameras because they're camera shy, and it's, it adds that sort of layer of protection.
Yeah, that could be why, actually.
Yeah, could be that. But I feel like everyone sort of got super confident in that 8th episode. Like, they're just so high up there now, I mean, they all talk about it, how they get recognized on the street and they can't go out in public the same anymore. So, imagine that sort of lifestyle change would be very drastic.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like they're like rich and famous kind of thing.
No, yeah, you can tell
story.
like it's they didn't go out looking for this sort of life. It's just sort of happened. It's fallen on their laps.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what did you think about the whole expired meat thing?
Oh man, at first I was shocked to the core. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll tell you what bit really shocked me when he opened up the pizza restaurant in the zoo and they're using the expired meat on it.
Oh, man. And you could tell straight away.
Oh, I could not believe it.
Like, before they even said anything, you just knew.
Yeah, you just knew it was going to happen.
As soon as you saw he's doing meat pizza. And then, in the documentary, Joe takes a bite of it.
Yeah, I mean, they're all comfortable with it. It's very interesting.
I mean, meat is one of those foods that you just don't want to mess with that, man. If it's out of expiry, don't do it.
I'm still like veggies, they put it best before, but you can see when a veggie goes rotten, and you're not really going to get sick from eating a rotten veggie. But yeah, meat's just a totally different story. There's bacteria and whatnot. It's I mean, you'd know more than me in that case. So,
well, I mean, not really, but I mean, just the fact that he was feeding it to humans is bad.
Yeah.
Him feeding expired meat to animals. Do we reckon that's such a bad thing? Because, for example, tigers will in the wild, they'll just kill an animal and eat it as it is. Like,
yeah, well, the animals' digestive systems are completely different.
It wouldn't be bad for them, would it?
Yeah, like I don't. They obviously don't get any, raw meat poisoning. So I guess expired meat is no different. I honestly wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know the science behind it, but I would presume that it would be okay.
Yeah, I'm also presuming it's not making a difference because it's almost like eating a carcass for a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, but yeah, to humans it was a bit. I was shocked because
to humans that's just illegal, like completely.
But yeah, look, if it worked for them, then it worked for them. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. Now, what are your thoughts on you know who?
The Baskin?
We all know who. Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Look, man, at the start, I really enjoyed the whole, they were sort of in this battle the whole time. And then it was a shocking twist when it came up to be about her killing her husband. And I mean, all the evidence it really doesn't help her out. I've got to say, it does not help her
Yeah,
out.
I mean, it's all circumstantial evidence, but literally every piece of circumstantial evidence
Yeah.
leads towards her doing it.
The biggest thing for me was when it was that document of power of attorney, and it said she gets a power of attorney in whatever, or disappearance specifically. And then one of the lawyers are like, I've never seen anyone write the word disappearance. Like, who? He's like, it's usually death. Who predicts someone's disappearance?
Yeah, and apparently the signature was forged as well.
Really?
Oh, I heard that somewhere.
Wow.
And the other thing was the fact that she didn't have a funeral at all for him.
Yeah.
And literally the day after the 5-year settlement date, she filed for all the assets to be in her name.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, you can't get any. You
It's-
can't get any more evidence than that unless you literally find the body.
I mean, yeah, it was way too sus. I don't know what it's like for her new husband. I mean, I wonder if he lives in fear every day, or if he suspects her.
Have you seen their wedding photos?
Yeah, they were very weird.
Yeah, like the husband, the current husband. Oh, what's his name? Is it Howard?
Possibly. He
Howard
looks like a
Baskin.
Howard.
Yeah, he's in like a tiger suit, and he's got a leash around his neck, and Carol Baskin is like standing up, holding the leash while he's like kneeling down. Like, you can't. I think he seems like the kind of guy that has just never done well with anything in his life, and now he's found Carol Baskin. He literally worships her.
Yeah,
So it looks like he's doing literally everything.
So,
for
do
her.
you think she killed her husband?
Well, I mean, in what sense though? Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, are you saying like, okay, if it was my choice whether she goes to jail or not, do I reckon she did it?
Oh, yeah, like just like a straight up. Do you reckon she orchestrated his death or disappearance?
I don't know if she physically did it, but I think she was involved.
Okay,
I do think she was involved.
Yeah.
But in saying that, you do have to still look at the other side.
Yeah.
That if she had nothing to do with it, imagine, man, how bad, like, her life is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like,
if she actually had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I am giving her the benefit of the doubt as well, because look, in the doco, they do. I'm saying one-sided, even though they show both sides, but one-sided because there's a lot of stuff and evidence that really don't help her out. But then she's also extremely backing up herself, saying, it's just like a ridiculous theory. You can't just feed someone to the tigers, I didn't grind his body up, all of that.
But the issue with all of that stuff is she just goes straight onto the defense. She never says, "Oh, I miss him so much. It's never been the same." Like, she's never said anything like that. And even when they show the initial interview, you can see the way she talks and stuff. And I've actually watched a couple of YouTube videos where, like, psychologist people have like analyzed how she speaks and her facial movements and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they all reckon that just the way she's moving her face and the words she's using and how she's saying those words is that it's all lies.
Wow, that is...
And she's like she's really struggling because her face certain parts of her face muscles like move in a twitchy kind of way, which just shows that you're like lying, basically.
That's a very interesting take on it, I gotta say.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what these psychologist people have sort of analysed. But the other thing as well, the police wanted her to take a polygraph test, and she declined it.
Yeah, interesting.
So if she had nothing to do with it, surely you would just do the polygraph tests and...
Yeah, but then also polygraph tests aren't 100% reliable either, like it spikes if you're nervous as well, so...
Yeah, true.
Kind of understandable. It's just, even her, like, the husband's old family that he had left for her, they are just convinced that it was all her, everything to do with her. So
100%.
Yeah, so they
interesting.
have no question about it. And of course, Joe thinks it was her.
Oh, yeah.
So,
how funny is that music video where he gets someone that looks exactly like her?
Oh, that was next. It's It's like one of those feuds you see on YouTube where this YouTube creator has a feud with that YouTube creator and they just make songs about each other and it's just
Yeah.
a ridiculous fight over on YouTube. But he's taken it to the next level and it's a professionally produced music video to professionally released song, that actually did very well.
Hey, cutie, cutie.
Oh, it was too funny. It was so literal. It was not discreet at all.
Dude, Joe does nothing discreet.
Exactly right.
All right, so you answer your thoughts. Do you think she killed her husband or not?
I think it's very plausible she had something to do with it.
Yes or no?
Okay, I'm agreeing with you here as well. I think yes, she had something to do with it, but not necessarily did it all herself.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Sweet.
Sweet.
We agree. That's interesting.
Yeah, we've been agreeing a lot. Maybe it's because we haven't seen each other in a while.
All right. The next thing I want to discuss is the whole murder plot. So, quick summary is that they reckon Joe was going to pay money to the handyman worker to kill Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
So, do we think this is legit? What do we think?
Look, man, I feel like it's legit in a way that he's definitely discussed it before because, he always says it as a joke and whatnot. But then in his defense, it's a bit ridiculous that he attempted to pay, someone he didn't even really like to, kill her.
Yeah, exactly. And the sum was like $3,000 or $5,000. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No one's going to take that amount of money to kill someone. That's ridiculous.
I mean, he literally says that as well. He says it doesn't cost $3,000 to hire it, man. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's an interesting defense, but I think he's also not wrong.
Yeah, look, I think it's all talk. Potentially he would do it just because of how much he hates her, but he would never physically kill her.
No, he wouldn't.
But I don't know. I guess he got put in jail for, a few other things, the animal-related abuse and things like that.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. And everyone in the interviews afterwards said, he deserves to be in jail. I mean, a few of them said they don't think he should have got, charged guilty for the attempted murder. But the rest of the stuff, they said, he deserves it.
Yeah. And the other guys set him up, man.
Yeah, it seems extremely set up, so...
Yeah, and that kind of leads me on to the next point. This guy, Jeff Lowe.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the guy that basically stole the zoo, really. If you really look at all the evidence, he stole the zoo.
It was his. It was definitely his intentions all along.
Yeah. So look, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I hate him. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the whole? Do you think he stole the zoo? Do you think he's a bad guy? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Look, I guess you can't really say stole because it was all done legally, but his intentions.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Yeah, look, he stole it in the fact that he really manipulated the whole staff team and Joe. And it was stolen like that. Like, he broke the trust and he literally just took it out of his hands. So, yeah 100%.
100%.
Not trustworthy at all because, his whole facade was a lie.
Yeah. And then he was basically involved with getting Joe put in jail.
Yeah, it was pretty much all him.
It was mainly him and that other chubby ranger guy that rode off on his jet ski in the last scene. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
How bad was that scene?
They even bring it up in that interview. Like, what was that scene about?
Yeah, that was just hilarious.
It was random, but yeah, look.
Yeah, it was a mixture of that guy and Jeff Lowe that really put Joe under. Now, I don't think Jeff Lowe's intention at the very beginning of the whole meeting with Joe, I don't think his intention was to steal the zoo. I think his intention was to dump a bunch of older tigers because they talk about it a lot that they make money off the tigers when they're babies.
Yeah.
The petting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then after that is when it's really hard to make them profitable. So I think he was using Joe to dump off tigers that were a bit older. And then when he got a bit more involved and knew about the ins and outs, and then he saw that Joe kept changing the name because he put the zoo in his parents' name at one point.
Yeah.
To stop Carol Baskin from going at him.
Yeah.
Because when he put the zoo in his parents' name, they then had to do a whole new lawsuit, so it kind of delayed everything.
Yeah.
So Jeff Lowe obviously saw all this stuff, and then him being such a con man, he obviously thought, oh, put the zoo in my name, and then bang.
Bang.
So it all changed. It all changed from there.
Well, yeah.
So I don't think, initially it wasn't his intention, but then when he saw the opportunity, unfortunately, Joe just got taken right off on that one.
Yeah, fair. I see what you mean. Maybe he did come in initially to suss it out and what he could do, I guess. But look, it was a pretty dog move in the end. Yeah. But not a good guy at all, I guess. Apparently he's also getting a lot of hate as well as Carol Baskin.
Well, that's the thing. And did you see at the very end how Jeff Lowe was building up the new zoo with this other guy?
Yeah.
The other guy realized that Jeff Lowe's got no money. He's not helping fund anything. So he left.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking now is, what is actually happening with this zoo? How is it being funded? How are the tigers and all the animals getting fed?
Yeah.
And coupled with the fact that people have seen this documentary, they don't like Jeff Lowe. He just comes off as a bad guy.
Yeah.
So are people even going to go to this zoo? Like, what's going to happen to it?
Yeah, I've no idea. I don't even... Didn't they, hold production of the zoo at the end because they were going to have a kid now as well? So, yeah, look, my real worry is what's going to happen with the animals.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing. And do you know how... It costs about $20,000 a year per big cat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
If they've got... Let's do some quick maths here. If they've got about... Let's say they've got about 200... if you times that by 20,000, that's $4 million a year to feed all those tigers. And so then, where are they getting that money from?
Yeah, where are they getting? Yeah, I don't know if I don't. Yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary to think about. I hope there's some update on each of these characters soon enough.
Yeah, and especially even in the quarantine and stuff, because America's got obviously the quarantine a lot worse than we do here in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's got a whole production as well. I'm worried for these animals, man. Honestly.
Yeah, it's scary to think about. But yeah, look, I guess that's one of the good things about the doco is it brings out this awareness on this is happening everywhere.
It's kind of does.
Yeah.
But what kind of annoyed me and a few other people is that people that are actually really into animals, that's kind of not what the documentary was really about. It was all about the murder plot and the corruption and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of less focus on the animals being treated in a certain way. And then right at the very end of the documentary, they put up this little thing saying there's X amount of tigers in the wild, X amount of tigers being held captive in America.
Yeah.
And it's they're really trying to go back to, it's all about the animals, but that's not what they really did. That's not really what the documentary was about.
Yeah, it did start off with those intentions, I guess, but then I guess if they stuck with that, it wouldn't really have been a docu-series that it is. It could have just been
exactly.
The one documentary.
It wouldn't have been as popular.
No,
sure.
no. I from a documentary perspective, I get it because look, it is called The Tiger King. It's really about Joe, and what he's been through. So look, I'm happy they at least did acknowledge those facts. Granted, it wasn't there from start to end, but you got a really good understanding of some areas that these animals are getting treated really badly. So
yeah,
there is that. But yeah, look, fair enough. But I see both views.
Now, I'm going to ask you what your final thoughts are on the documentary, but I just want to discuss one other character real quick.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember Doc Antle?
Yes, I was thinking about him.
The older guy with the long hair, and
Yeah.
So, look, I've listened to a lot of videos on YouTube and things and other podcasts where Doc Antle's actually been speaking.
Yeah.
Now, he is potentially also one of those manipulative kind of characters.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that there was some girl talking about, he made me get a boob job, blah, 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 so I quit or something like that.
Yeah.
Look, that may be true, that may be not. We never know. He's come out and talked on defense that she was our babysitter, she was never even working at the zoo, blah blah blah.
Oh,
Look,
wow.
this is he said she said. I'm not really worried about that.
Yeah.
But just the way he just talks in such a confident and believable way that you can just see that if anyone goes to work there, they're gonna listen to everything he says. Because he's just one of those kinds of people, right?
Yeah. And it does come out that his organization is a bit culty, and yeah, you can see it. I mean, he literally changed his name. Yeah, literally means God. So, and then he changed all the, the girls changed their names too. Yeah, look, you did get a culty vibe from them. But yeah, he does have that very confident tone in his voice. And look, out of all the parks, he's looked the most organized, I guess.
Yeah.
So he was a very interesting character. I'm actually interested to check out some of the things you watched then to see what he says as well.
Yeah, look, it's interesting to hear what he says. But again, he's such a believable guy, just the way he talks. So you never know what's true, really, at the end of the day, unless you're involved in it.
No, exactly right.
Now, I did like the look of his place because it's not really like they've still got like the zoo vibe, like there's cages and stuff like that. But they really let the animals roam around because they're on a massive land where they are.
Yeah.
Now he's got a son named Cody.
Okay.
And his social media is like booming way before Tiger King.
Okay.
You'll see those videos randomly pop up on Facebook or whatever where there's like this guy. He's like 20-year-old guy, brown long hair, like tied up in a ponytail.
Yeah.
And he walks around with like just shorts, no top, no shoes, no nothing. And he walks around with tigers and chimpanzees and all that kind of stuff. So that stuff's pretty awesome in a way as well. You still, at the end of the day, you just don't know how deep down the animals are being treated. You would presume they're being treated quite decently over there.
Yeah. But you just, I mean, because there was talks about him, also just killing older tigers just because you just never know in the end. So
yeah. And I actually went to the website of his place, which is it's in Myrtle Beach. What's the name of it? Myrtle Beach Safari, I think it was called. Yeah. So his zoo, I guess, wildlife park is called Myrtle Beach Safari. Now I went on their website just to see what the whole thing is about with it, right? So his basically like safari kind of park, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
Is called Myrtle Beach Safari.
Yeah.
Now I jumped on the website because I wanted to just look into it like a little bit more. Because his place, the way he talks about it, it's like a 5-star like Sheraton.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other zoos. Compared to, Joe's Zoo. Compared to Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue. So I thought, let's go have a look. So I looked at some photos. It looks pretty awesome the way it is. And I just thought, let's just see what kind of like deals they do, like packages, like how does it actually work? So I just picked a random date in September, right?
Yeah.
Just to see what it was like. And it was like a 1 day, it was like a full day like safari. So I presume you walk around and look at certain animals in cages, and then you go look at the tigers, and you go around the whole park, maybe have lunch. I presume that's what you get, right?
Yeah.
1 day pass, just on a random day in September, $600 per person.
Wowee. Well, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously making enough, and I guess as we discussed before, it costs so much to feed these animals. So
well, that's the biggest thing, man. At the end of the day, this is like it is a business. At the end of the day,
yeah.
And their overhead costs are like ridiculous. If you think about how much they got to pay for the animals, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you compare that to, let's say, Werribee Zoo here in Australia, I remember going there. I think you can get a ticket for just entry for like $30-$40. And then you can do like the actual safari to see all the animals at about maybe 100, 150, something like that. Granted, look, there's a pretty big difference there. I guess with their safari, you probably go out and you actually see tigers roaming around, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different to here in Australia. But yeah, if you really look at the difference in cost, it's It's pretty insane, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, also over here, you can't privately have those animals either. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, big difference there too. So yeah, look, I agree with the whole. I'm surprised there's no laws there already. So it's shocking to see how that country deals with its stuff.
Yeah, it's just insane that in this day and age that you can just literally buy a tiger off someone and keep it in your backyard.
Yeah,
It's just mind-boggling, isn't it?
it should not be legal.
Yeah, really shouldn't. Now, overall, you asked me before what my thoughts were.
Yep.
What are your thoughts in terms of how does this documentary rank in your list of potential documentary?
Look, I thought it was a very well-made documentary, very entertaining throughout. Great people in it, great caricatures that were shown. I think there was a lot of hype for it. I think because of the time, it does make it in let's say my top 20 docos, but yeah, it's not up there in like the top 3 or 5, maybe not even in the top 10. But look,
really, not in the top
10?
10?
Enjoy it. Actually, nah, yeah. Look, I don't know.
You know why you've got a different view? Is you watched it after the hype.
That might be it. Yeah, that might be it. But I did enjoy. I think it was rated well. Like, I don't think it was overrated. I think it was rated perfectly for what it was. They're shown so well. But I'm thinking of things like Making a Murderer and other docuseries I've watched. And yeah, look, it's pretty on par. But I'd have to give it a good thought on all documentaries and docuseries I've seen. So, but look. Let's say it's in my top 15.
Top 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, interesting documentary either way, with all the elements involved.
Yep. Still highly recommend it. Check it out. It is on Netflix. And let us know your thoughts if you think we're wrong on anything or if you have any updates on any of the characters.
Yeah, so once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Instagram. There'll be a few polls coming in the near future to see what you guys think on certain things. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for tuning in to the So Far So Good podcast, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Goodbye.
I reckon keep that in, because that was pretty solid.
Okay, yeah, I won't bleep it. I'll keep it in there.
Far out.
I thought you were going to say
No, because I cut you off before. Did you actually say what you were going to say?
No, that's what I wanted to say.
What?
About the tomato sauce.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Alright, well, cool.
Yeah,
Alright, well, moving on. Yes, very topical. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Alright, I'm going to... Did you want to mention anything relating to that?
Or? No, go for it.
Alright. Now, look, he's another one of those potentially... What's the word? Hang on, give it a quick pause.
All good, bro.